Hey, hey, hey. Beautiful day out here at the lake. Sky blue fishing. Just got here, just got on. Got a marshmallow and a night crawler out. We got a line in the water. Waiting for just a little bit more light, and I'll throw my other line out so I can see the bobber. Been watching some fish jump. Oh, that's a turkey vulture. Turkey vulture, come say hi. Ooh, there's a whole bunch of them circling up in the air. Ooh, turkey vultures, looking for an easy score. A little windy out here, so it's challenging to see exactly when I get a hit because my rod keeps bouncing around a little bit in this wind. We are fishing beautiful Northern California here. About 1 hour from the Oregon border. Trying to get some monster trout. Trying to get the monster trout. We got sun just about to come up over here. See sunrise right over here in this here mountain. So, real nice. Bruce. Hoping to, buddy. Some big fish out there. Some big fish. A couple more minutes here, I'll have enough light to see my bobber dancing around. I'll toss it out there. Got a night crawler with a marshmallow on this rod. Doing my best to see what's on the bottom. Hope everyone's having a beautiful Saturday. It's a fishy kind of Saturday. Beautiful day. Looks like it's going to be nice weather for most of us over here on the West Coast. Yeah, exactly. Big old ones. Put like a half a night crawler on there. It's always hard to tell the current. The current does like just a slow, gentle little pull, but the trout are like bam, bam, bam. You know, and the tip of your rod just drops. But the current will kind of just gently pull the tip in like an inch or two. I've done a lot of plunking. You sit there and plunk, and you put little bells on your rod tip, but you want to pay attention to the way the current moves it. Stick hits it, something like that that's booking by. Versus a serious takedown. Heck yeah, Bruce. Nice. Oh, it's so good to do work on your own truck, you know. I got a '07 Tundra, and you know, I tear that thing apart all the time, fix all kinds of stuff. Just buy some weird part off eBay if I have to. You know, they don't quite make everything anymore for that '07. I like my truck. Pretty vital out here. I live in the mountains. We are on the I-5 corridor, which is nice for commerce and getting in and out. But as soon as you're out of the dinky little town we live in, it's rugged, it's mountainous. Got to have some good vehicles, good four-wheel drive in most places because of the snow and just the weather here. It just tears up the roads. So if you like to go explore, there's massive rocks and potholes and stuff. Pierre, hey, hey. Oh, yeah, my buddy's got a thing on like an 02, maybe 2000 or 2002, something like that, Tahoe. He loves it, man. He's going to probably keep that thing for a long time. How you doing, Pierre? Yeah, this is the Sacramento River right where it enters this lake here. And it's really interesting. It's like a serious mountain where it comes down out of. Try and spin you guys around for a second. So back up there is the entrance of the river. So it's like a glacier. It just comes down off these serious mountains and rolls down here. So it's ice clear, gorgeous, freezing cold. I mean, freezing cold all year long. So it enters this lake right about here. There's about 5 entrances, 5 little watersheds that feed this lake. This one is the one that's like ice clear, just beautiful, rocky bottom. It's fast moving river. Not much plants can grow here. A couple of the other spots are just full of brackish water, real slow moving with all kinds of plant life. Bass hold up in a lot of those other areas. I don't think I've ever seen bass over here. So ice clear. You get a couple hours, and then once the sun comes up enough here, then the osprey and the eagles can see the bottom too well, and all the fish just split. They get out. Another 75 yards out there to protect themselves because it stays real shallow. It stays like 3 feet, 4 feet for 50 yards or so. So it's a fun place to fish. It's a little more challenging. Puts the yeah, serious, Bruce. Hey, Mike. I was watching you yesterday, Mike. I wasn't being social. I was working, so I just put you on, hit the like real quick. I saw that cool like title. Your thing was like featured by YouTube. So I was like, oh, this is really cool, Mike. I was like, your video looked different. Your live looked different. It said featured by YouTube. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. So I gotta go check this out. So I wanted to see if anything was different in MVP. But you were just fishing, just talking to people. Sometimes I don't socialize. I just watch, give a like. I thought that was pretty cool that it said featured. I was like, what's this? What's this featured? Something was promoting you. Some days I got a lot of work going on. I do a lot of gardening. I got a big farm, and to my business, I think I was cutting a bunch of stones. Yeah, it was really cool. It was like the normal live, and then like underneath the header, instead of like a description of saying what someone might be doing, it was like featured YouTube fishing, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. It was like in real big bold letters. So I was like, I got to check this out. It drew my attention right in, Mike. I was like, they're liking you. Yeah, this little spot challenges me a little bit more as an angler. And some of those other spots are where where they stock the trout, and so they tend to hang out, congregate over there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Mike. Yeah, so over here tends to be more the wild fish, and it's fun. Like I said, it pushes me as an angler, but everyone knows how that goes. You don't want to just have the easiest fishing environment possible. We have these little small kind of, I call them ponds. They're not very big. They'll be kind of places you can go bring the kids. You don't have to have a fishing license and pay your $10 or whatever. And then they'll have a interesting limit, 2 fish or something like that. But they just have them with stock trout in there, and it seems like the fish are so starving because the second you throw a little bobber with something in, you have a fish on, and it takes you about 10 minutes of fishing, and you got your limit, and you're like, oh, okay, guess it's time to go. I'll recast this, see what we can do. Oh, come on, get off the bottom, will you? That's the only bad thing about around here is the bottom's terrible. I'm gonna have to re-rig that. That bottom ain't that gear up. After a while, I tried to learn, but I'm stubborn. I guess it's time to use my bobber rod. This is the one that I can fish out here without losing all my gear every single time. Bottom is pure rocks out here. Show you. See all the rocks here? This is what the bottom of the water looks like. Nothing but pure rock. And since that's the case, I tend to throw out some kind of weight out there. I've tried so many different things. They just get wedged out there in all those rocks. I lose just about everything. It gets challenging. It was me knocking that log over. You don't try, you never know if you can succeed. All right, got that pretty far out there. Yeah, it's bad, man. It doesn't matter what I throw out there as far as weight goes. It just drops. The weight drops down in between a few rocks. And I go to get it out, and it's like, good luck. It just isn't happening. I like to bottom fish. I had a lot of success with it in this lake. I got tired of throwing spinners out here. I tried it. This thing's eaten up about eight spinners of mine. It's about that many cast masters too. You just get tired of it. It's probably, it starts off about 3-4 feet deep and stays in the 5 to 6 feet deep for, about 50 yards, 60 yards. So it's like a gradual push from that river. So that river just pulls down rock from the mountains over time. And so this is where they deposit the rocks. And so it's a rock depository from the glaciers. And from just the serious mountains up there. So it just kind of keeps pushing them out. And we have those, like a couple years ago, we had some real serious floods, and the river was 10 times what it is now. And so then it pushes the big boulders and stuff out. Might have got a little hit right there. I think I had a hit. Bobber went down for a second. Well, I'm gonna have to get this bobber back out there. Basically river fishing here, but in the lake. So I throw my float way out, let it hit the current, pull itself way out there. Yeah, serious. Up here in Northern California, Southern Oregon, where I fish and hang out mostly for nature. Oh, our water sources are just so cold. It's wild rivers that just come down from 10,000 foot mountain ranges and stuff like that. And so it's challenging. I go into about 3 or 4 different rivers with my waders, and I get out there, and it's a blast. Where are you at, Bobber? Ooh, there's some wind. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, float. Oh, there you are. Yeah, a lot of the people that I've watched from up in Canada, they're just getting ready, dealing with that weird in between phases, I guess, where you can't ice fish anymore. You don't have enough conditions to get out there in the right rivers and lakes and stuff, though. So it looks like I said, a few more weeks. Same with some of these people up in northern Minnesota. Just give it a little more time. Here, we have to wait till the end of April till we can trout fish streams and rivers. Yo, good morning, Tracy. Yeah, Tennessee seems nice for that, huh? Boy, we don't get that. We just started getting our springtime here. This last few years, it's been very interesting. It's like winter will hold on for a little while, and it's almost like winter just ends and we go right into like a mild summer. It'll go from being highs in the 30s and 40s to all of a sudden about 80. It's really strange. And so some years it's really great on things. Some years I notice it's kind of hard. It hurts. Like about 3 years ago, we had some early spring warm where it got to that, but it was in like early April, and end of maybe mid-March, and then it got cold again. It froze again, and so it killed off all the blossoms on all the fruiting trees, walnuts, everything. Right now, the cherry blossoms are just coming out. Yeah, that's nice. Today's finally decent. I drove out here. It was 41 when I drove out. So that to me is decent. I don't have to wear gloves. Over here, if the wind starts kicking up, it gets really, really bad. Woo! No, Darren. Yo, Cookie. I lived in Portland, Oregon. I was raised there. And that's what we would get. It would be freezing rain. And that'd be the worst. And, you know, that black ice we would get on stuff. Oh, ugh. Hey, I spun out a few times by hitting big black ice patches. That was challenging to say the least. Had a few serious storms come through where it froze like the waterfalls and did all this amazing things out in the Columbia Gorge outside of Portland. One of the most picturesque scenes I've ever seen in my life. Wow. Oh, thanks. Yeah, the view is nice, huh? That's a lot of ice, man. Trying to get the river to push my float out. Just gonna see if I got lucky earlier. Yeah, the Dalles is beautiful. It's right on the Columbia River there. They got this almost nonstop wind that goes out there by Hood River, a little bit past the Dalles, and it's like perfect for these what do you call them? Water. Ooh. Water sail, something like that, like the big surfboard thing with the big sail on it. I forget the name of it; it eludes me for some minute. But anyway, you go out there in the Columbia Gorge past the Dalles, and it's just packed. There's 100 of those people out there because it's just this beautiful river. Ooh, that's some wind. That's a lot of wind we're getting hit with. Luckily, the wind's from behind me, which is nice. I was out here the other day. Just wanted to come out. It was so windy. It was so terrible. It was this white water like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, this little spot makes it challenging on me because the bottom. I can't fish a lot of the stuff I would like to fish for. Like I said, it just eats up the spinner because there's massive boulders and then there's sticks, stumps, branches, you name it, that are stuck out there with them all. So then I'll toss a spinner and I'll get lucky. If it lasts 3 or 4 casts, I'm lucky, man. That's the thing about trying different areas of water. Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. Trout love spinners. Black and gold kind of Panther Martin is deadly. That's probably, some of the best things you can catch them on. They got those little trout magnets too, little 1/64 ounce jig heads, and you can put use the little magnet grub itself, or just like a little small piece of a mouse tail. But man, spinners. I watch people that will put up poles, and they're like, if you had one lure that you could catch a trout with, what would you choose? And spinner always wins when people vote. Yeah, they have this Panther Martin, this black and gold one. It's got like little gold dots on like a black background, and that thing is just incredible, man. I threw one just like it out where this river keeps on going past this lake. It drops down a canyon, and I was in there. And you have to use artificial bait, so spinners or flies, that kind of thing. You can't use any kind of bait. And yeah, I was using this black and gold big one, but it had like this what what do you want to call it? Yarn. This little little strings on stringy stuff. This little black yarn kind of stuff, fuzzy stuff all over it. Covering the treble hook, if you will. That's really cool. Here we have a lot of protected waterways that have really weird rules. And so they'll allow us to fish all year long in those protected waterways, but we can't keep any of the trout, and then we have to use artificial stuff. So I don't know about the red devil. I don't think I've used that. Some of the areas they're like Fish and Wildlife Service is what we have here, and so they will own that. Like right here at the end of this this lake. The lake is owned by like Siskiyou County Flood and Water Control, which is really interesting. And so yeah, and so then it's usually the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. That's who run it. So they're like a federal employed agency. So those are the guys who come out and ticket you. They're like what most people would call a game warden and stuff like that. And but they drive around with a law enforcement vehicle. A lot of times they can actually pull people over for speeding if they chose to as well. So they're kind of an interesting breed of enforcement. And so yeah, right here where the river continues past the lake, it's owned by the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and so they keep it about a mile of the river open for anglers. Yeah, I've never caught a turtle here. I've seen a turtle a few times, never caught them. Yeah. Yeah, so they want you to fish. They encourage it, but they just don't want you to hurt the fish by, you know, taking them, or they also want to make it kind of more challenging. So like I said, they use artificial, flies only, no bait. They make these rules so where it seems like you really have a hard time catching them. It makes it really challenging to catch. Yo, Chris. What up, Flash? Trying to catch some big ones. Always messing around on the bottom, but that gets dangerous. Ooh, we're going to get a sunrise over here in a second. Ooh, look at this sunrise. It's going to pop up over the mountain. Oh, it's going to look beautiful. It's going to come up over that hill in just a minute. Could be a good looking sunrise. It's going to blind the camera if I kept it there for too long. Yeah, so it's finally, I mean, the agricultural growing zone 7B, but it's now kind of changed to we're in 8A/7B. So it kind of migrated here. The growing, yo, SW has changed on us. And so we're getting these warmer summers here, and spring tends to be coming a little bit early. And so it's kind of challenging to figure out exactly. Wow. Interesting. So it just kind of yeah, I forgot about that too. So most all of the rivers here too are barbless hook. So Once you get down to where this river continues, it's all barbless hook. Natural. That's how the salmon and steelhead are when you fish them in these big rivers. So that puts the pressure on you. I tell you what, man. Wow. Yeah, I started getting those the circle hooks. I was like, so I use the barbless circle hooks. Gives me a teeny bit better chance, just the way they're designed. But you have to, so you catch them in, a river that's probably about 4 times the size of this one. This is the Sacramento River that comes into the lake, and give this thing another 100 miles, and it's a massive river. But you go to most all those other rivers where I can catch a steelhead or a salmon here, then we're using barbless. And so when you get that fish on, the whole thing is you can never give it slack. You can never let that thing have the ability to shake its head on you. Oh, you too, Chris. I really do, buddy. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Keep it fishy. Have fun. Be good. Yeah. So I've had mild success with them circle hooks, but say I only use them for the particular time when I'm out there and these certain rivers. When I go up to Oregon, which is where I do probably 80% of my big fishing for steelhead and salmon, we can use barbs. So that's a whole nother easy fishing kind of experience up there. That's my preferred fishing destination. Since I'm about an hour from Oregon. Try another worm. This worm's looking a little sad. I'm gonna start going to the natural. Make my own weight out of a rock. I know I'm gonna lose it here so much. Maybe that rock won't get so hung up. Just got to find the right shaped rock and wrap it a bunch with some other line and use it as a weight. A lot of these rivers up in Oregon, we plumb because we have to have these big weights. Or you do this drifting. Oh, that's really cool, Bobby. Once you get used to it, you know what I mean? And for me, like I said, I don't give the fish any slack. Once you get used to it, you've kind of figured it out, and I just constantly go upstream, upriver, keep that yeah, we're in North California, Northern California, right by the Oregon border. Wow. Wow. I watched Cindy and those guys catch catfish. I'm not sure. I think Cindy was live last night. Yeah, exactly. No bueno. No bueno. Yeah, we get big salmon here and steelhead as well. But the river that's about an hour from me gets a 60, 70 pound salmon. And then I go to this other one that's on the coast of Oregon. It's the southern coast right by our California-Oregon border. And they get about the same size. You can catch a 70 pound king salmon. The Chinook. And so that's off the bank too. You don't have to have a boat. And so you're in for a fight. I have not caught one that big yet. I think 20 some pound range is the biggest I've gotten. But I have, most people that get those real big ones, they tend to go out to these drift boats. Yeah, I have, man, Bruce. That's crazy. That is bizarre, oh man. I watched that. I learned about it. I lived in Illinois for a little while, and man, those guys were like diehard fishermen. We lived out on a lake, so we were fishing there all the time. But the noodlers tripped me out, man. That girl Hannah Barron, I think's her name. She's always out there. She's so impressive, man. She's just like in her element, and she just wham goes down there and grabs one of those big catfish, and she'll just be smiling and giggling the whole time, and I'm like, oh boy. Yeah, Bobby, you know what I'm talking about. She's so happy when she does it. It's just like the coolest looking experience watching her do it, man. You're like, wow. Impressive. Exactly, Bobby. Exactly. She is amazing. That little sweet accent she's got, you know how many hundreds of thousands of fishermen are like, oh, that girl's perfect. Yeah, exactly. My daughter's 18, and I was showing her a while back, about a year or two ago. She was talking about some bow stuff. I was like, oh, you got to watch Hannah with a bow. In this world, it's easy for girls to be made fun of for doing things that are considered, primarily masculine. And I've seen a lot of people who attacked Hannah for her accent and just the way she is. And that's what I was telling my daughter about it. I was like, you can do and be whatever you want. Yeah, exactly. This is an interesting place to fish over here. The only thing I get luck with is my bobber. I got my river floats. I got my steelhead floats on now. Yeah, that's what I noticed, Bruce, is the jealousy, and so they tend to attack other women that they're jealous of instead of support them, which makes me kind of sad, because I think we should all support each other, not be jealous and then attack them. Yeah, exactly. It tends to be a common thing for people. This world is a very competitive one. So, the women are competing for the same pool of men. And, people compete for jobs, and you compete for, houses and cars and just about everything. Compete for fishing spots. And so it's easy to, not handle that the best, and to, instead of being just a better version of yourself and be happy with how you can do it, you look at others and blame them. You see the success they have, the things they have, or the things they've created, the people they're with, whatever. And then you just want to find something to attack them, when secretly you admire them and you want what they have. You just haven't figured out how to create that level of success for yourself. Yeah, no. That's why I was wondering. I was like, maybe it was Cindy. Skipjack Cindy is great, man. I love that. I love watching Cindy. They were in some interesting river the other day. I think they fished Tennessee. One of the guys I really like watching, Fishy Things. He it could be, you know what I mean? I'm not sure about that. But yeah, the guy named Fishy Things, he went down there and did a collaboration with her about 2 weeks ago or so. Oh, it was great. So I watched Fishy Things fish Wisconsin all the time. And he took a little trip Down to Tennessee. Yo, back mountain. Yeah, the competitiveness of the world gets challenging. You know, it's a real thing everyone has to live with. We all do. The dog eat dog style of the world gets tiring though. It's like always having to compete for everything instead of like having more trust and having more, you know, understanding that everything will be fine. You don't need to have your success at the expense of others. There's plenty for everyone in this world. Yeah, I agree, Tracy's. It was amazing. Yeah, I was chatting with a few people from Arkansas because I love digging crystals and stones. I work with the earth a lot, and so I have an amazing farm and gardens, and then I do a ton of lapidary gem work and other kinds of work with stones. And a couple people like Thunderstruck, Justin over at Thunderstruck. And I was talking with somebody else. They were from Arkansas, and all of that was exciting. They were like, "Oh yeah, you got to come out and fish with us." I haven't been to Arkansas probably for like 6 or 7 years, maybe more. Colorado's another one of my favorite places to dig, but that's tough digging, man. Anytime you got to go out in like the serious wilderness, and you just got to bushwhack, and then you got to carry massive tools. It's an interesting one. Like I was saying, the weather's just started to break out here enough to where I can do some serious gardening. Got all my potatoes planted. Planted about 400 of those yesterday. Day before, excuse me. Bunch of German butter balls, French fingerlings, some red potatoes. Oh, there comes that sun cresting over. Ooh, look at how the camera looks. Not so bad. No hunting yet. I learned it all. I did that hunter safety stuff when I was young. I was raised up in Oregon. So they made us do hunter safety stuff. And I'm an eagle eye with a shot, man. I tell you that. I just haven't had the need. I haven't had the need to eat that much. So I haven't wanted to go out there. Take something that, oh yeah, no worries. Appreciate you just listening. Come on, big fishies, where you at? I got my bobber finally out there in a decent place. I kind of do. Ooh, yep. I can imagine that, Bruce. I'm a necessity kind of guy. And so if it came down to it, I would. I got a real good buddy who hunts a lot. And so I need to learn a little bit more. I need to learn field dressing and a few other aspects of it to feel complete in that context. Serious. I don't like the way my bobber's sitting out there. I gotta go check it. Let's see. No, it's all right. I was hoping I could get away with bottom fishing. That didn't last long. I think I made 2 casts, 2 different spots, and then it got snagged. It broke. So right now I'm just floating this full size worm, full worm, with my steelhead bobber. That's my steelhead float on there. It's an adjustable. Fixed float. It's just hard finding the right spot out there. Current messes it up, grabs me. Yeah, serious. What I found here is that I have to use a full worm pretty much, man, to get these big ones. I fished this, I mean, there's some massive 27-pound fish hiding out in here. Occasionally you'll see this 15-pounder come by here and it'll just blow you away. It looks like, you know, it looks like something 4 foot long, size of a big, thick watermelon, and it just comes floating by. And you're like, wow. I mean, they look like salmon out when I'm out river fishing. And so I'm like, oh my goodness. And so anyway, I've learned over time that they don't want a small worm. They don't want nothing to do with that. Typically, I just heard a big fish jump. Where was that? Typically they're after fish. That's all they pretty much eat. Little fish. So I have better success with that, with like little gulp minnows, like I said, or spinners, something that looks like a live bait that's struggling. But right here, it's deadly, man. I'll lose it. If I can throw that out there, it's just gone, man. Gone central. And part of me's tempted. It's like, oh, I could re-rig my other line back up. But I every time I lose them. Every time I throw anything out here on the bottom, I lose it. At some point, you're like, oh, I can get it. Maybe this time. Maybe this time I won't lose it. And you lose it. So it's like I was going to be smart. Beat it this time, but it didn't work. A few times I've gotten lucky. I've just thrown my gear out, and I think the fish is probably like right there. That giant worm will land. Happened the other day, about 2 weeks ago. This other section of the lake, and I threw bobber with a giant worm out. Must have been a huge bass right there. Oh, Tracy, yeah, take care. Have fun. Same thing happened about 2 months ago. I threw out a giant worm just like that, and it landed, and by like 2 seconds after the float hit the water, it was just gone. Just boom, down. So a lot of times I think I get lucky and I cast out, and it just happens to be a giant right there. This is the kind of spot where right place, right time kind of thing. Starting to get into the crowded time of season where it's going to be really difficult to not have to deal with all the other summertime fishermen. We get a lot of tourists that come here. And I was out fishing yesterday, just enjoying some time by myself, and I started noticing the crowds coming in. I was like, ooh, gonna get that time soon. And it just changes the whole flow of it all. A lot of the locals have pretty good sense of morality, I guess you want to call it, when it comes to fishing. Yeah, exact. Hard spot about that is a lot of these really amazing spots are not they don't get a good reception. And so with that in mind, these amazing places I may want to go, I just can't, because I can't get any. Can't get the reception that's going to work. And I notice that on about 80% of people that I watch. A lot of the places they would love to take people, just can't get out there. All right, I'm gonna let this puppy drag way out there now. See what happens. I had to walk over to the entrance of the river. Got that bobber out there in the serious current. Walk back over to that chat. Yeah, this place gets a little overrun with boats as well. It's about the depth. I'm about spooled out. I got a little 2500 series on here. I don't got a lot of line. I'll let that puppy go out. Yeah, that's a tourist town that I live in, and so there's a big couple resorts, a big campground, a big boat rental. They rent paddle boards. They rent all kinds of things here. So it starts becoming pretty hectic. And they come from different places. They come here with a party attitude too. Yeah. Thing about bank is, there's typically limited bank access. That's what the hardest part about bank fishing. We have these amazing rivers that are kind of long and wild, and they'll go through like serious canyons and things like that. And if it's a 200-mile long river, there may be only 20 or 30 bank spots available. But the guys on drift boats, man, they have access to the whole thing. And so they'll come in the drift boat, and then they'll be able to stop their drift boat and get out in a perfect little gravel bar area that just might be amazing. So they'll park the boat, hang out, or secondly, that drift boat is following the current, and they're following the heart of the current right down the river the whole time. And so they're right on top of where the fish would be swimming. So it's so fun, man. And they get to, they're right on top of it. So snagging, like, not like I experience. I get snagged because I'm pulling at, a 10-degree angle, trying to get my weight. But they are right above it. And so since they're right above it, they just pull straight up. Since they're in a boat, if they get snagged on anything, they just take their boat right over to where the snag is and pull straight up. And you never watch them lose gear, weights, or anything foolish. The trout are pretty particular about where they are in rivers, but steelhead especially. They follow the foam line where the massive current is booking down a river. And so, the foam is home. It's the saying when you're looking for yeah, exactly. I believe it. Little guy, huh? Yeah, those river drift boats, man. Big aluminum, super solid. Beat the heck out of a drift boat kind of thing. This isn't working the best of my. I'm gonna walk everybody back over 10 feet. I'm sitting where I'm at because I was trying to fish the bottom. It was easier access over there. If I'm gonna fish the river only, move back over here, about 30 feet away. Yeah, we got a few serious lakes around here. I go about an hour south. It's a real massive lake. I got a little kayak. I've watched a few people in that lake, and the wake they get from those giant boats. I look at that, like that'd flip me, and maybe just toss my kayak. Sorry if that was shaky. Had to switch spots. They screw you at the drive-thru. I always think of that Joe Pesci one. He's all mad in the back with a McDonald's order or whatever. It's like, I always quote that one. They screw you at the drive-thru every time. All right, let's try and catch one of these beauties now. This is my first style, my first instincts. We're like, let's just fish it like I normally do. Talk myself out of it. Yeah. All right, let's catch one of these beauties. Mess around. Yeah, I moved over closer to the entrance of the river. And so this is the much faster moving, allows my float to get way out there. So I use the current. River starts right up there. Right there, it's just rolling, just booking down the mountain, real massive force. And comes down, and right about here is where the lake starts. But it's still moving as it hits the lake. Yeah, so we'll go about there. The sun will crest up over there. And then it blinds this camera if I'm at the wrong angle too. So then this current just bounces, just dances my float from left to right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty serious. It's a pretty wild river up there. It drops down a ton of serious elevation. At the beginning of the headwaters, you couldn't mess with very much. But south of here, once it takes off after about, well, like I said, there's a lake at about an hour from here. After that lake, the Sacramento River picks up, and it's a mover. It's a big girl at that point. Come on, big fishes. So the big fish come up here looking for things to eat that are floating down this river channel. Ooh, yeah. Being brought up in Oregon, I'd make trips to Idaho a lot, Eastern Oregon and stuff like that. You'd see the snake. Got these beautiful canyons that go throughout there. And oh man, it's just a beautiful area, I tell you. I'm impressed with those salmon on the Snake River. They travel as much as like 1,200 miles. I was watching this guy talk about the sockeye up in Cooper River, Alaska. And he was talking about them being like some of the best salmon in the whole world. He was attributing the fact that they had to make this 300-mile journey. That's why the salmon are so incredible there. And it's like, yeah, it's pretty nice. I was like, 300 miles is a good journey. But I was like, I know for a fact those Idaho salmon travel way more than that, because they book down that Columbia River and they go all the way. After the Columbia River, they hit the Snake or whatever. And so then I researched that. And that's what it said, that a lot of the salmon there will travel at least 1,000 miles. A bunch of them 1,200 miles plus in Idaho. I was like, now that's a distance, man. That is a long haul. They can go as many as like 30 some miles in a day. I thought that was pretty amazing. Yeah, exactly, huh? Yeah, there's like, something to be thought about, like species like salmon like that, they wait, only breed once in their whole life. They give it all they got, 4 or 5 years old, and they're like, all right, I want to give it everything I have. Go lay 10,000 eggs. Or most other species, tend to breed throughout their whole lifetime. I think it's pretty interesting. It's a different choice of survival tactics. All right, come on, fish. What we got? Let's go get some big one. See how this worm's looking. Yeah, I always know this place tests me. It's really, I learned a lot sitting in those rivers, watching those salmon. Who I'll watch them come up, and then so they'll come up in like September, October, and I'm watching these 20 to 40 pound fish, 4 foot longers. I'll be out there in my waders. River gets about twice as deep as this. A little bit faster moving, not too much though, where I'm at. And so I'll watch them come by me, and I'm out there with spinners trying to catch them. And but I'll watch 50, sometimes in a day, go by me. And then the steelhead are hot on their tail. So I'll be back out there 3 weeks later trying to catch the steelhead that are after their eggs. So I'm using spawn sacks. I'm using things that are just work really good for the steelhead. And then I watch the fish come back, the salmon. They'll float down and they're zombie fish at that point. I remember one time when I was sitting out there, I was in water that was about thigh deep, about 6-7 inches above my knees. I got my big net on my back. I got my gear. I'm standing out there three-fourths the way across the river. Yeah, I've been surprised this cool, huh? And so that I'm just sitting out there, and all of a sudden, like something catches like the side of my eye, and you're like, oh, felt like you were about to get hit by a log or something like that. And I turned to my left shoulder, and there's a big salmon, big 4-footer. That's just zombie fish, and it's just floating down. It's about to bump me. So I just grabbed my net, and I just kind of like gently held him in the net for a couple seconds, just give him a couple little pets, and you could just see it. I mean, he didn't have much energy left in him at all. He was a big, giant boy, big 4-footer. And it's so interesting to watch because they'll just have like a little bit of energy left, and they'll just kind of float down the river, and then they'll stop in some shallow spot, barely be able to do anything, and then the current will take them down another quarter mile. Reaper! No. Yeah, exactly, Bruce. No luck yet, Reaper. I'm over here at a tough spot, man. If I get a fish over here, I'm always really happy. Yeah, I keep saying there's not much I can do out here. I can't throw spinners because I'll lose them. The bottom is a nightmare. And I tried bottom fishing a little bit ago. Lost my rig, 2 casts. So, but the only thing I can do is run a float, and then it's just kind of luck of the draw. If I get near the fish. Yeah, exactly. The sun is just coming out, man. 6:30 is, we just getting first light around 6:15 or so. Yeah, the sun's blinding to my left. I can't even see where my float went anymore. Oh, there it is. I finally found her. I found my thrills on Blueberry Hill. Better go bring my gear back over with me. Come on, fishies. I want to catch a big fishy. Come on, fishy. Where's you at? Wow, the sun is getting blinding. I want to catch a big fish. I want to catch a big fish. Yeah. When I'm out doing my big salmon or steelhead runs, I usually have everything portable, and it's just all on my back. Sometimes I'll only take 2 rods, and you just walk down the rivers. Hardest part is getting in and out of these little hollers where like the bears and stuff live. Right before you can get to the water, you got to go through sometimes like 40 or 50 feet of real thick vegetation. And, you know, there's bear scat all around. So it makes you teeny bit nervous. We're only allowed 2, and we're only allowed 2 on lakes. So on rivers, we're only allowed 1 here in California. And lakes, you can use 2. Up in Oregon, it's the same way, except there's about, I think, 4 or 5 rivers that you can actually have 2 rods in now, which is kind of cool. Change the whole flow of that around. I watch people fishing for catfish, like Cindy and a bunch of other people, and they'll have 2 or 3 rods a person, and that seems to work really well. For me, I've noticed it increases my odds, but it divides my attention. So I don't know if it ends up being better in the long run. I haven't really done any kind of scientific study, if you will, but my guess would be, I'd say, that's wind there. Probably have more luck if I just fished with a single rod when it comes to trout, because I'll be in these areas Yeah, I live right by the Oregon border. So I'm in California. I'm on the California side. I'm over here, and you know, just up a stretch is Oregon. And so my California license stuff, just the fishing license itself is about 80 bucks. And then it's like it's like $70 for your fishing license. It's $20 for a second rod endorsement. And then it's $8 for a steelhead tag if I want to fish for steelhead, $8 for salmon. So I usually get out of there about $100. If I like this year, I haven't been getting salmon tags because the salmon season's been closed. So, but that puts me at like, you know, a little under $100. Now, when I go up to Oregon, I have to buy a non-resident license, which is just ridiculous, and that's where they get you. And so by the time I get my non-resident license, and Oregon makes you do all these weird extra fees. So if I want to just fish for trout in Oregon, it's one thing. But if I want to fish for steelhead, then I got to buy a steelhead tag. Then I got to buy all these weird like extra fees. If I want to fish the Columbia River, if I want to fish what's called the southern part of the state by Rogue River and all these things. So anyway, they're both year-long licenses. In In Oregon, I think it's from the first of the year to the first of the year. In California, it's a 365 days from when you bought your license kind of deal. They have a date stamp on it, and so in Oregon for my non-resident license, I ended up spending about $200 for all the fees, 200 to 230 if I get Columbia River endorsement and all that stuff. It can be, like I said, close to $250 for a non-resident, and that's for everything for a year. If you want just like a week-long experience, you can go spend like $75. So it depends on the year. If I know that I'm going to be up there a bunch, yeah, $100 a year here in Cali, and that's with extras, 2-rod endorsement and steelhead tags and all that good stuff. If you just want basic fishing, it's about $70 in California. It's a non-resident. That's always what gets you. Like, I want to take a few trips. I want to go to like Idaho. I want to go to Nevada. I want to go to Utah to fish. But same deal. I have to get these non-resident license. Probably just get the single day or maybe just the week-long one. Hey, Kirby and Girl Tony, nice to see you. So interesting that they haven't broke down like that. You guys can like fish for free if it's worms. Nothing like that, even remotely close. They don't. Licenses have nothing to do with what you fish here. That's really a trip. Interesting. That's a fun, interesting experience. I always enjoy seeing and learning how it's done, how different states do it, especially in different countries, how their fishing reality is. This body of water gets stocked. We have a fish hatchery right up the road. It's pretty cool, about 1.5 miles away. And so this place gets stocked fairly often. And so this is not the side that oh, that's cool. So I go back here, and it's more challenging. You have a potential to catch a much better fish, but your odds of catching them are different. The stocked area I was at yesterday, I only caught 2 fish. Well, they're like 16, 17-inch fish. Guy next to me caught a nice big fish too, but he only caught 1. He was there for a few hours. So if they freshly have stocked it, it's like ridiculous. It's just fish after fish after fish after fish you're catching. But I don't eat those freshly stocked trout. They're really not good. Meat doesn't taste that great. That's the thing about fishing out here. A lot of energy, like when we fish for salmon and steelhead, same deal. You put a lot of work into it. And so if you get a fish, you're very happy. It's a big reward. lot of work, big reward. Unlike fishing the stocked areas where it's easy catching, very little reward. It just doesn't do much, you know? It's not that hard to throw a worm into a pond where it's just packed full of trout, catch trout. That's kind of what happens when they stock. It'll just be a billion of them right around. It just doesn't do, it doesn't do much for me. But somewhere like this, where I got to really push it, I got to put all this time and effort in, and I could get something huge if I get lucky. Reminds me of steelhead fishing. Man, $10. Wow, man, what a different reality, man. Yeah, I was raised out here in the Oregon, Washington area my whole life. Just used to it. I bet that's hard, Bruce. No, I've never tried that. That looked really, the way the water changes things. I remember like most I ever tried was with a BB gun. I would shoot at little like tadpoles and things like that under the water, and it would be so difficult. It would surprise me so much. I'd have a deadly aim up on land, but get me under that water, and I was terrible. There's interesting restrictions on bow fishing here too. I was looking that up a couple weeks ago. It's like, oh, that'd be fun. Like crossbow fishing. Come on, let's get a giant fish. Yeah, that would be fun to try though, Bruce. My dad was like a really skilled sportsman, and it would get so difficult playing basketball, or any sport with him, because he was just so gifted, man. He could just whoop us. He'd whoop anybody, man. He was like, he would have been an Olympian if he didn't have a few issues happen. But I mean, he was that great of a sports guy, so it was always so frustrating doing any kind of sports with my dad, because he was so competitive. He would just beat you instantly. He had no mercy. He just didn't care. You never won. Come on, big fishes. I can do it. I can see you out there. You want to bite that worm? 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 Yeah, that's cool, Bruce. I think for a lot of us, we have fond memories of Dad teaching us, showing us, doing little fishing journeys. For me, I get up and go fishing real early. It's no problem. I attribute that to Dad. Didn't like it when I was young. Dad would make us get up so early to go fishing. Be driving somewhere for like half hour. It's all dark. Yeah, 66. And it never made sense, man. I was like, why are we up so early, Dad? But I just went along. I wouldn't give him gruff. And I'd just go out there with him. Never understood why we had to leave an hour before light. But then we'd get out somewhere, have to do our little 20-minute walk from the car to the fishing hole. And then we'd be there by first light. We'd be catching big fish. Now that I got older, it makes more sense. When I get myself up, it's like, no problem. Yeah, wow. Oh, yeah, sounds good, Caribbean. Yeah, it's always good to watch and comment. Otherwise, the subs just don't stick. YouTube thinks we're a bot if, only bots pop into someone's thing and sub and don't actually interact, don't watch. Sure, go ahead and ask a question. What's your question? Come on, fishing. It's supposed to be a fishing channel, not a river channel. Come on, fishies. Fishy, fishy, fish eye view. Fishy, fishy is looking at you. Fishy, fishy, I got a fish eye view. Fishy, he's looking at you. I need to ask the fish. Mr. Fish? Mr. Fish? Can I have your wish? I'd like to get up that stream, says Mr. Fish. Ooh, that's windy. Wow, that is windy. We're trout fishing. I'm trying my best. Giving her a best. I'm out here. I got a bobber with a night crawler that didn't go where I want, so I got to recast it. We're fishing in Northern California by the Oregon border. Little town of Mount Shasta, California. One of the most unexplained phenomena kind of places that we have in all of the United States, right here in this town. Yeah, serious. Yeah, I try to watch a full length video of somebody's. I'm not into always watching a 20-minute or that kind of deal, but like when I go to sub somebody, I'll try to grab one of their little 7-minute videos or something like that. Try to watch a full length. I try to go live fishing, usually Saturday, Sundays, and Mondays. But then I will find myself going fishing almost every day for relaxation. I own 2 different businesses. One's an agricultural based, one's a brick and mortar store here in my town. And so I got a business partner who helps me with the brick and mortar store, but I run the other one all by myself. So I'm doing a lot of stuff in life. I'm staying real busy. And so getting out, like I can get up, go fishing for a couple hours, and then I can start my day. I can get on, open the shop by 10 o'clock. So fishing's kind of a meditational thing for me. And since I'm a lapidary worker, stone worker, whenever I go fishing, I get the opportunity of hunting down beautiful stones or crystals if I'm lucky. If I'm in like a place like Arkansas where there's nice things to actually gather. So fishing's always a bit of a dual purpose thing for me. If I go to areas where I can actually collect. I appreciate you, Bruce. Appreciate you being nice. That's one of the things I like about making everybody blue, giving everyone that moderator hookup, is that YouTube doesn't make it that easy. Yo, bounce in the house. Yeah, they don't. YouTube doesn't make it very easy for chat people to interact with each other. You have to go try and enter somebody's name in and find them, and then half the time it won't. You have to search forever to find somebody if it's a common phrase or something like that. So when you're a moderator like this, you can just bam, go right to their channel, watch a little video, do a little subbing. That's a good idea, Bruce. And that's who I am. I've got to take advantage of many times because I'm that kind of person. I want to see the best in everybody. And I always want to treat people with lots of dignity and trust and respect and love. Sometimes it bites you in the butt. And then you just got to learn, figure out where you went wrong and, how and where and when maybe you trusted where you shouldn't have trusted. Over here fishing in the difficult part of the lake, Bouncer, trying to get the big slammies, the natural native ones. Lowers my fishing odds way down, but it makes it that much more rewarding. It's like steelhead salmon fishing when I got to put a whole bunch of time into it. And then you actually get rewarded. Yeah, Mom, Bouncer. Come on, big fishies. No whammies, big fishies. There's so much current going on out there. I got my steelhead floats, my river float out there. It's hard to see the puppy, but it just dances. It moves back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, exactly. Stop. That was one of my jams. I love that game show. Joker's Wild. I used to like to, pretend I wasn't feeling the best, so I would miss school early 80s, that kind of stuff. Living with my dad in Southern California at that time. Sitting around and watching those little lame game shows. Yo, Mama Cookie! Hey, hey! Thanks for popping in. Doing my best to catch the fish, but the fish aren't cooperating with me. Ooh. That's sounding good. I have a big garden, you know. It's a mini farm. 100 foot by 60 feet is my growing space. So it's fitting into the farm. I got a 3-acre place. I'm only got about a quarter of the acre fenced and gardened. It's challenging. We don't have the best soil here, so I've had to make soil from scratch. That's a fun one, I tell you. I've been using cover crops this winter. All kinds of other interesting ways. Heck yeah, boats. And so, man, you know, last year I harvested a whole bunch of great potatoes. Man, I tell you what, potatoes I can buy around here are just garbage. The ones I grow myself, ooh, that's a good potato. I grew this type of onion called a temptation, and it's like a sweet onion. And oh man, it's a white onion, and it's so delicious. And I grill up some potatoes and onions that you grew. Oh, it's I don't know. It's just hard to describe. I'm finding that a lot of the produce, even the organic stuff that I buy out there, it just doesn't have a lot of life to it. The flavor is just adequate at best. And so, for someone like myself, we spend a mass amount of time trying to get healthy living soil. Then we get these beautiful plants that are just vibrant and just full of nutrients. This year, my onions didn't do so well, so I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed with what I'm going to be able to plant outside for onions. We have to start our onions in February. A cat got into the room. I was playing music a few times, and so I put her in there, and then I was like, all right, stay away from my plants. Thanks, Bounce. Yeah, you know, watching the way Bob does it over there. I like the fact that Bob will have you go check out his site, leave him a message, watch one of his videos, leave him a message, and then he'll get back in touch with you. Check your site out, that kind of stuff, and then he feels good about making you a mod. And so I was like, I like that. I like that system. So it's hard to tell, you know, right away what you think about people. I'm in so many fishing channels that I recognize so many people right away that I'm like, all right, I know you and I know you, so then I'll mod you up. I was on somebody else's channel that I hang out with a lot about 2 weeks ago. Nice person was on there, and we were all being cool and saying hi, subbing this person up. And I'm like, let me go check out this person. And it was like a real young kid. And it seemed like the kind of kid who probably didn't have permission really to be making the videos. And then I was like, nah, man, I can't follow somebody like that. It just feels strange. It's like, why would some adult male want to be following some young little person's channel? So I was like, man, you got to be cautious. You got to like really take a minute. You can't just, oh, I'll sub you because you sub me. You got to take a minute, go investigate them. But I didn't want to be like the YouTube police and be like, yo, you guys are all talking to this person and, you know, everyone's subbing him up. Like, this guy's, you know, looks like they're 9 years old, man. All right, new worm time. See if we get lucky, man. We got bounce in the house. I always think of Roadhouse. It's one of my favorite bouncer related movies, Roadhouse. And I'm a cartoon guy. So we got this cartoon called Family Guy. Peter got obsessed. Peter from Family Guy, he got obsessed with Roadhouse. So he'd go there kicking somebody. He became the bouncer. He'd have an issue with somebody. He'd say Roadhouse, and he would just roundhouse kick him. It was hilarious. This is terrible fishing out here. It's windy. Conditions are not favorable. Ooh, I'm getting hungry. Ran out of my potatoes from last year. That's a challenging one, is figuring out how to store everything properly. Potatoes need like some kind of sand. Had about 80 pounds of onions that I saved from last year. Fishing is very relaxing. Very, very relaxing. It's like meditation. Ooh. Yeah, I studied herbs for a while, for a couple years with this nice Cherokee woman. She was one of the best herbologists we had in America at this time in the 90s. She's not with us anymore. But she used to travel all over. She would tell us all about all kinds of different cool things. And she used to always tell us like that over in the Mediterranean, that if you noticed how people ate their salad, they tend to eat it with like a oil and vinegar as one of the most common salad dressings that there is out there in the world. And she would talk to us about it. And yeah, Turtle Bay is cool. I used to go there on school field trips with my kids. It was great. And so the oil and vinegar combination does the thing like with our stomach acids, where if we were to eat greens, salad greens especially, just by themselves, our stomach really can't break it down. Can't process that. You're just going to poop out majority of what you ate. And so the things that are in the oil and the things that are in the vinegar, they actually help break down the components of your greens. And so then they aid in digestion. So oil and vinegar wasn't just used for a salad dressing thing because it tastes good. It was used because you could actually assimilate the nutrition in those greens that way. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tracy Kitchen. Yeah, Bruce. And so I found that really cool. That was like, that's why I like the harder greens, like collard greens, stuff like that. You know, Kale is one that typically, you got to braise. You got to break that down a little bit. You got to give it a quick 1 minute of high heat or something like that. It breaks down the structure to where you can actually absorb it. Otherwise, the greens are a nightmare to try to absorb. I made my own apple vinegar, apple cider vinegar. So easy to do. It's one of the easiest things I ever made last year. I got this massive 5-gallon bucket of it, so I got this vinegar mama in there that's just huge. But I got my business partner's neighbor's tree drops a few billion apples into his yard. And so he'll bring, and they're a good tasting apple. They're yellow apple. They're pretty sweet. And so I'll make apple related things with them. Apple butters and jellies and kind of things like that. But occasionally I'll have him bring me the yuck ones. And then I make vinegar out of them yuck ones. Interesting. Apple wine. It would seem like it because I put all that crap in the bucket to make my apple cider vinegar, and it's like, oh man, it's got that good smell. I could just tell if I added all the right fermenting crap to it, it would probably turn into mead or something real fast. Not much of a drinker. I got too much Native American in me. I'm about 40-some% Lakota, and it just messes with me, man. My whole entire life, all it did was mess with me whenever I drank. I didn't like it. I didn't have a good time. My body was feeling poisoned, to be honest with you, and so I would be fighting nausea. I'd be slightly dizzy, and just hating life. Yeah, serious, man. I don't become instant asshole or nothing like that. I don't. Nothing bad happens. I know some people that are like real bad drunks, man. I would implode. I would go from having a good time. I'd be there at the pool hall, shooting pool with everybody, drink a couple beers, and I'd be having a blast. So then I'm like, woo! And then I would drink too many, and then all of a sudden the world is spinning, and I feel yuck, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get sick. And so there was never this happy little medium. But you just learn. I tried the alcohol stuff when I was, into the teenage, early 20s, because that's what you did socially. That's where adults hung out. It was some kind of establishment where alcohol was served. And then after I grew up to a point of wanting to live my life for me, not to make others happy, not to get approval, if you will, in everybody else's eyes, I just started living who I wanted to be, and boy, it's better. I don't judge anybody for it. I have no problem with people who smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol. It's not my vibe, but the last thing I would ever do is judge you for it. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about that. I got the worm on the bottom here. Caught me a few good fish here before. I've probably caught a couple dozen here. It's a weird spot here. The fish are here or they're not. It's that kind of deal. I saw a few boil when I first got here, but they were a little further out than I could comfortably go, especially with my float. I threw my bottom line out there, hoping I could get out there, and it lasted 2 casts. And I lost it. Ooh. Yeah, 66. I might have a jig on there. Half the problem is I got a small float on here. It's a 1/4 ounce float. Usually works fine. I'm on the river because I'm walking up and down the river. But here, once it gets more than about 20 yards away, I'm having a real hard time seeing it with this current where it's at. Thought about using one of my salmon, like 1 ounce floats, because you know they're like 8 inches tall. Get it to stick out of the water and be visible a lot better. Yeah, it seems like the yeast wants sugars, and then it's got to have something. It's got to have something organic to be eating off of too, like the apples. Yo, big bass, boom! I make compost tea for my plants, and I use I take about 20 gallons of water, and then I have in like a big garbage can, and I'll put an aquarium heater in there, and I get the water to about 85 degrees, and then I add a bunch of fish emulsion nutrients, which I make from actual fish, and then you take that, and you take about 4 or 5 other things like some compost, and then you take this stuff called leaf mold, and then you add a whole bunch of molasses in there. And the molasses gives us that high sugar content. And this stuff called leaf mold is a natural organic microorganism. And so like whenever you're in a forest, that's kind of an old school forest that's got tons of leaf on there. If you grab the leaf and you lift them up, you'll see what looks like spider webs running through there, and that's the mycelium. And that stuff is full of fungal content. It's the natural microorganisms that live around you. And if you take that stuff and you culture it correctly, like I do making this tea, the molasses will allow those things to basically ferment, start growing like crazy, and it'll make a big foam. And you'll have 6 to 10 inches of foam like on a big beer. And that's when you know your compost tea is incredibly active and brewed up and just full of microbial life. And we take it and feed it to plants and spray it on plants, feed it to the soil, and it makes everything live good. Fights off powdery mildew on big plants. Plants absolutely love it. You can take this, you take your fish and you chop them up into pieces, and you put equal weight fish and equal weight brown sugar in a bucket and leave it be. Fish guts, fish head, fish bone, fish tail, fish skin, fish everything. Just chop that puppy up, take 5 pounds of fish, put it in a 5-gallon bucket, you take 5 pounds of brown sugar and pack it on top of the fish. Leave it alone. Come back, minimum 3 weeks, but wait 6 months if you can, and there'll be nothing but liquid in there. Nothing but liquid in there. It's called fish amino acid. It's FAA for short. And boy, that stuff is liquid gold. Liquid gold, man. The other ones we make get really stinky, get really natural. I mean, just nasty, because it's like decomposition, like a compost bin made of fish. And those ones smell bad. But this one with brown sugar, it's beautiful. It's sticky. Sticky sugar mess. That's the only problem. Whoa, water is beautiful here. Fishing's bad. Water's good. See, this is out here at the lake. The other part where I fish a lot, it's starting to get crowded. kind of get, you know, when you go live, you only have so many choices. Only 5 or 6 places that I can go really, and I go to the same 3 over and over and over again. And then there's all these tourists that are there now. Yeah. They sure aren't going for what I'm after. I just don't think they're here. They're not coming this close in. It's like when I fish for steelhead. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can just throw stuff out all day long, man. If they're not there, it doesn't matter. Yeah, sounds good, Bruce. I'm going to shut her down in a handful of minutes, Bruce. So if it's shut down by the time you come back, bud, I'll catch you on the next one. I'm starting to feel the need for some food myself. All that talk of good potatoes. I got a bunch of basil growing this year. I got about 40 basil plants that are taking off already. Yo, good morning. Good morning, Tim. Well, I don't call it a shrimp, but my last girlfriend said I had a shrimp. I thought I had a walleye I was packing myself, bouncer. Ba-bump bunch. No, I don't know. What you mean shrimp, boy? Shrimp cocktail? We got these things called Washington coon shrimp. Those guys do good for steelhead, man. Look at this one, this company called Millennial Bait. Oh boy, I love those little guys, man. The little red, pinkish coon shrimp. That thing is good for catching steelhead, man. Yeah, Castle Crags is literally there, right about where that cloud is. Right behind that cloud is Castle Crags. Oh, here comes that sun. It's going to blind me. Yeah, I haven't been to the falls much, man. Whoa. Trying to cast out. Worm grabbed a stick. Yeah. Yeah, 66. I agree. It is beautiful here. You know the area. I mean, it's nice. Handful of people I know that they keep their living and fishing place to themselves. I don't mind. Mount Shasta's it's a tourist town. We need more people here. It's like anyone who wants to come up and fish, please do. We could use you. Place could use you. It's designed for tourists, so it can handle it. Yeah, it's weird being in California because Southern California is kind of its own beast. It's so different than where we're at. But Central California and Southern California, you know, I understand water regulations in the LA area. They got so many people with just artificial grass yards and things like that that they kind of need to limit them. Darn right. I got a buddy who had an encounter with Sasquatch. I was going to grill him a little bit more so I could share his story online with people, because I can remember what he told me, but not as detailed as what he told me. I was watching guys the other day talk about it. They were talking about dogs that were hot on the trail, and then the dogs just lost it, and they kind of thought that it must be like some weird phase shifting. Like that's what most people that I've talked to, the conclusion they've come to is that the Bigfoot, they do some kind of phase shifting. They can shift in and out of this reality. About 4 years ago, I was up on the mountain in early December. I drove up there right before the snow closed the whole place down, and there was there's this dumb and hurrying group that came in years ago, and they asked me to help them. We made this giant spiral, and so it was my job to go up there and check on it every so often. It's this walking spiral that you can walk through, made of stone. Anyway, there are all these weird tracks around, and I'm like, kind of like I enjoy learning and watching tracks. I'm not an amateur tracker or nothing, but I know a fair amount about tracking, especially in snow. I can follow about anything in snow because it's pretty simple. The tracks just never stop. They're going in one direction unless they loop back. But you know, you want to keep following this critter. You can tell by how fresh the snow was and where it came from and where it's going. So I'm up there at the top of that mountain, and there was this bunch of cougar tracks around. I was like, ooh, this is a fresh cat track. This cat was there. And this cat was there, it looked like, you know, a couple hours before I got there. But then there was all these other weird tracks. They looked like some kind of bunny rabbit was about the best I could say, because they looked like they had the four track pattern. It had that long back foot lobe to it, like rabbits do. But these tracks started out of nowhere. They went for about 40 feet, and then they just stopped. And you're talking like a foot of snow all around. And so it was so confusing because there was nowhere else for this critter to go. It couldn't have like jumped on anything else because it was just pure snow everywhere. And they just stopped. And when the track started, it just started out of nowhere. It's not like it could have came out of a hole or could have jumped out of a tree or off a branch. The tracks just started out of nowhere. They went for, like I said, about 40 feet, and then they just stopped. I couldn't figure it out for the life of me as a little amateur tracker. It made no sense. I was like, how did this thing just appear right here? And this is the first tracks it made. And then how does it just stop right here? And there was no marks like an eagle came down and got him. There was no impact in the snow like if some big bird of prey whooshed him. They leave a mark because they slam down and pick up the rabbit. I was very confused. So it was up in the same neighborhood my buddy saw Bigfoot. So I don't know. Going by the tracks that I saw that time, it sure looked like something was able to phase in, walked around for a while, and then it phased out. That was the only thing I could figure out how it could happen. And that still does. It still sounds like I'm in a Star Trek movie. So I don't know, man. Heck yeah. Who doesn't like the barter system? See, I mean, and the native way of looking at barter and money, we just called it, you know, equal energy exchange. And so we understood, you know, if you wanted to trade shells for your hide, that not everybody would always want that. And it came to a point where it was like stuff like, you know, the currency system with money made sense because it's like, well, as long as it's equal energy exchange, that's all that really matters. Yeah. I went to the Allegheny Forest. Allegheny Forest in 1999. A bunch of us freaks out there camping out. And that was a real different forest, man. That was a real different forest. I got to be honest with you. I hadn't seen that many serpents probably ever. Every place I would try to move stuff. I'm trying to set up my tent. So I'm moving all the rocks. I pick up a rock. There's a snake. Pick up a rock. There's another snake. Pick up a rock. There's like some thing that looks like a, what do they call them? It's like a skink. Skink. It's like a half snake, half lizard looking guy. But they were everywhere. They were everywhere. I probably saw 200 or 300 of them in those 2 weeks I was spending in that forest in Allegheny. And there'd be times at night where I'd be looking around, I'd shine my flashlight, and it seemed like underneath every bush was a little pair of eyeballs staring back at me. I was like, man, I'd never seen so many serpents in a forest. Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable how many things were in Allegheny. I'm from out here on the West Coast for us, and we have rattlers and we have a lot of other big snakes to worry about, but we don't have. We got garter snakes, racers, California king snake. We got a handful of just docile snakes, but we did not have anything like what was there. And it was beautiful, man. Allegheny Forest was something. I'll never forget that one. I had never experienced that many serpents. We got scorpions up here. I have a few UV lights. I have a metaphysical store, crystals and stones and our own jewelry and things like that. And so about 5 or 6 of the stones we sell are UV reactive. So I got 2 or 3 different. I got a real intense one that will blind people. So that one we keep put away most of the time. But I got this little flashlight kind of hand one, and shortwave. So I was going up to dig for some petrified wood years ago up in Oregon outside of Bend. So I'm like, let me take my UV light. Maybe I can go find some cool, glowing stones. And I go up there after I'm done looking around for stones. I wait till it gets a little darker at night, and I fire that UV light up. I'm gonna go hunting some UV reactive stones at night, and I'm shining this puppy around. I see something glowing green like kryptonite. I was like, oh, look at that! It was the most beautiful green I ever saw in my life, and it was big. It was a big looking green thing. So I go over there, and without even looking, I'm just bending down to pick the thing up because I'm thinking it's a stone. As soon as I got about 4 inches away from it, I'm like, oh, that's a giant scorpion. Yeah, I love the Rogue, man. About 2 hours from here is one of my favorite fishing spots on the Rogue, and it's right at the end of the run of the Rogue. It hits this little dam, and then there's a hatchery, Lost Creek Hatchery, and all that stuff right there. And that's where I've got most of the salmon that I've gotten on the Rogue is right there. It's a big salmon holding hole, about a little less than half mile from the hatchery. So it's the end of the road for them. And it's fun. Rogue River is challenging, man. You got a whole bunch of old cats who've lived around there their whole life. And to them, it's their river. It's public fishing, but it's their river in their mind, And so they'll get all up in your business. They'll get in your business about telling you what you're using. They'll get in your business about crowding you. They could care less about fishing morality. There is none. This guy's older than you. He's been fishing this since before you were born, and that's all he cares about. And so it's challenging. You really got to have a whole different attitude when you go up there, man. The modern reality, Amy, you got to go to my channel. Watch one of my videos. Leave a message. And then I'll go check. I got to go check you out and verify your site. It's a trust reality. The way it works that way, I got to get to know who you are and what you bring, because it's a family-friendly show. Want to make it good for everybody. So yeah, just go leave me a message. I'll go check you out later. Everything seems good. When I see you on the next live, I'll mod you up. Yeah, you know, I've really come to think the only thing that makes sense about the Bigfoots is the phasing reality. Because, I mean, any of you guys who spend enough time in nature, you know, you see bones. You know, I've seen every kind of bone just about out there. And if Bigfoot was something that lived out here in large numbers, we would find their bones. We would find remains. There's no chance that like they could all be carried to some like ceremonial burial ground, because that's his impossibility. That a Bigfoot is going to accidentally get hurt some way where we would find him. So that one's always been a quandary to me, because any of y'all nature guys, you've run across just about every single bone out there. So if Bigfoot was real and he was out here in massive numbers, then we would run across him. We would have something. Now, I mean, there are weird things that go on with the Smithsonian. A lot of people have talked about that, and they said that they've mailed stuff in and it just gets lost in the Smithsonian. So, or the Smithsonian would come and take everything, like skeletons of giants and a lot of things that. So there's a chance that things have made its way to places like the Smithsonian. But the phones we have and the things like that we have nowadays, if someone was to find a skeleton, someone was to find a Bigfoot skull, I find bones all the time. Well, I mean, we got a lot of mountain lion here, and so mountain lion will kill something, and you know it'll be evident that he just toasted that deer, and you'll find everything there from the deer. You know, sometimes the skull isn't anywhere near, but you'll find all the rib bones, you'll find all the hip bones and all the leg bones, and it'll all just be sitting there. The antlers tend to get eaten, so the antler sheds. I was at my cousin's house once, and he had a big, massive rack antler that he had just sitting up on the fence. Yeah, exactly, Bounce. And all of a sudden, this massive elk rack that he had set up on his fence, I'm looking over there, and the thing is just moving. It's going to town. And there was a squirrel that was just going to town on it, man. And I came back a couple weeks later, and that squirrel had eaten half of that rack. And so that's when I was like, wow, really? Squirrels? So that rich, the marrow and all the stuff that's inside of those antler sheds, they get eaten up. So it's kind of hard to find the antlers out in the wilderness. Yeah, I've seen a handful of shows that talked about the evolution of man, and how, you know, when something happened, we had some kind of shift, some mutational shift that happened with our DNA. It happened with our mental evolution. Something seemed to happen, but the theory was that the one that didn't, like our cousins that did not get that shift, did not get that mutation, if you will, They just progressed at their normal pace, and they have become what we call a Sasquatch or Bigfoot. So somewhere along the line, they're a distant cousin that they just progressed like the Neanderthal man would have. But we went into, yeah, I don't know. I don't believe the whole mixed DNA thing. Not quite sure about that one. Mutational jumps happen just in life. Go to the Galapagos Islands and you can actually see mutational jumps occurring in nature. Well, I think this fishing spot's about got the best of me. Sun's gonna come up enough, and now we don't have any luck. Got an osprey coming around. Someone might have yelled. I didn't hear anything, Bouncer. I'm at the back. You got to drive way out here, man. There's a trail that walks around here. You can walk almost. I think you can. When in summertime, they put a bridge over here crossing this river, and then when that's there, you can actually walk all the way around this lake. There's a walking. Yo, looks like something bad happened. Interference. Looked like we lost it. I lost stream for half a second. Bizarro. Now I'm about to end it, so I'll show you guys around. So yeah, you can see over here, the river gets all this wide. It covers all this rock, goes all the way over to the tree line. When it gets extreme flooding conditions here, the water will flow right down here, as you can see, and then it will go all the way over there. So it becomes a real massive river when it really flows. Uh-oh. Lost my mic. Lost my mic. Sorry, Bouncer. Yeah, I was just telling you guys that this is where the water comes in. Ends up flooding this whole entire thing when it gets massively high water conditions. So this is the serious entrance of this river. You can see it just rolling down there. It's dropping down about 30 feet in elevation. Cool, yeah, you can see, like I said, so it just covers this whole area, and it gets massive. And so the river will get, another 80 feet across when it gets at its deepest. So right now it's kind of thinning out. It'll get a lot shallower, and then they put a bridge right here for people to walk. Heck yeah. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end the stream. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Bouncer. You're a good man. You guys be good humans. Do the best you can. Yeah, you know what, B? There's nothing but claims back up this way. There's maybe a claim, one spot up there that I'm looking at that may have not been claimed, and I'm hoping to maybe claim it. But yeah, there's nothing but claims going all the way back up there. Lots of gold, I think, up there, but boy, it's all claimed up. All right, Mama Cookie, you take care. I appreciate every single one of you beautiful people. I'll show you the rest of the water. You can see it. Sun's here, so it's kind of rough, but that's the rest of my lake. All right, y'all. Take care, everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'll be live again in the morning. If you're not busy, come hang out. Try to find a better spot, get some real fish for you. Bye, everybody.